Right, are you settled down? Come on then, lie down.
I want to see the red.
It's on. Just lie down.
I want to see that red.
It is. Yeah, but you've got to sit down because the whole point of this is that it's a bedtime story, isn't it? So I'm going to read this to you while you go to sleep.
No, not me. Just...
That's the idea. That's why we've done all the others. And this is the last one, sort of. Leave it alone.
Sort of.
That's a microphone to record it. This is why we did these, isn't it? Right, so then there's one more after this, actually. I lied a minute ago when I said it's the last one, because there's another one called Rogue One. But the last one that we recorded was Revenge of the Sith. And then you've got to then remember all the other ones, like The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. Oh no, they're striking back. And then Return of the Jedi, when Luke overcomes Darth Vader and finds out that he was really alright and all that sort of stuff. And the Empire was defeated, wasn't it? Right.
Yeah,
So.
And in Phantom Menace.
No, yeah, but that was really far before. Okay. So it's Phantom Menace. Anakin's a little boy. Then he grows up, and he's in the Clone Wars. Then he turns into Darth Vader. Then Luke blows up the Death Star, and then Darth Vader says, "I'm your dad. Behave." And then in the last one, Return of the Jedi, Luke sort of defeats Darth Vader, and he becomes Anakin again, and everything is sorted, isn't it? And the Ewoks are cheering, and everybody's happy. Yeah? And you're smiling, yeah. So lie down, because I got to tell you something. It didn't all just end well. No.
Because Kylo Ren's alive.
Well, yeah, I know. So, that's when, yeah, things are bad again. So it's a long time later. And the Empire is now gone. And there's a new load of people who are baddies called the First Order. Which is just another name, really, for the Empire. Because they're even using the same stormtroopers. They're using the same sort of TIE fighters, probably a bit better. And everything's just bad again for some reason. You'd think, well, how did that happen? Why didn't Luke just carry on sorting it out? What's gone on? So, we need to find out, don't we? So, after all this has happened, bad things have gone on. And the new film starts with a man who has found some plans to find out where Luke is. And at the start it says, Luke's gone missing. No one knows where he is. And only he, because he's the last Jedi, can stop the First Order. But he's gone and no one knows where he is. So that's bad. And Leia's looking for him. Everyone's just thinking, right, come on Luke. Why don't you just come and sort it out? But no one knows why or what's happened. So we'll find out in the next one, probably. So, what happened is that there's a really cool pilot who flies spaceships really well. And his name is Poe Dameron. And he's been sent on a really good mission to go and find Luke. And he needs to get his droid and find some secret map to where Luke's hiding. And so he goes and finds this man, this old man, who sort of kind of knows where Luke is. And he's giving him a map. And Poe says, right, I've got to get this map back to Leia, and then we'll just go and find Luke, and he'll come back and everything will just be fine. Yes. So, but when he gets the map, the stormtroopers turn up. They all fly down, loads of them. And they go and start shooting all the villagers. And Poe says, oh no, I'm going to get captured. So he puts the map of where Luke is into his little droid, which is like a ball with a head on it. And its name is BB-8. And he gives it the map and says, right, just leg it, BB-8. I'm going to get captured. Just get really far away. you'll probably find someone who can help again, because the droids always do that, don't they? They always have secret plans or something, or a map, and they have to just run off, and usually the first person they meet is just someone who bizarrely is just connected to it all and can help, so they just get really lucky. So maybe that'll happen again. So BB-8 runs off, and oh yeah, the stormtroopers start shooting all the villagers and shooting all the people, and the big bad guy comes out, and you know Darth Vader's gone, so there's a new baddie around called Kylo Ren, and he comes out and says, right, all you villagers, tell me, where's the secret map? I'm gonna get you if you don't tell me. And they all just get a bit lippy, and one of the leader says, no, I'm not telling you, because you're bad. And Kylo Ren says, yeah, just tell me. And this guy says, nope. By the way, I know all about you. You've got to buck your ideas up and stop being evil. And Kylo Ren just kills this guy for being cheeky. So Poe sees this, I think, and just legs it. But he gets in his spaceship and it won't start because the stormtroopers start shooting the engine to it and it's all broken. So he says to BB-8, run off. And then he gets captured, which is bad. All at this same time, one of the stormtroopers is starting to feel a bit guilty, and he sees some villagers get shot and gets blood on him, and he starts thinking, oh no, this is really bad, I shouldn't be doing this. And yeah, that's all that happens, but that's just important for in a minute. And then Kylo Ren grabs Poe and says, where's the map to where Luke is? And Poe says, I'm not telling you. And Kylo Ren says, you will tell me. I'm going to use the Force on your head, so I'll get all the ideas out of it. Right, I can't do that here though. I've got to put you in a special chair for some reason to do that. So I'm going to take you back to the base. So Kylo Ren says, take him back to the base and shoot all the other people. So the stormtroopers shoot all the other people, and yeah, it's a bit bad. So anyway, at this point, Kylo Ren goes back, but BB-8's rolled off and gone somewhere to try and get help. So they take Poe back up to the spaceship and say to him, tell us where the map is. And he says, no, I'm not telling you, blah blah blah. And so he's been beaten up quite a bit for that. Meanwhile, BB-8 runs off, and some person comes to try and nick him for spare parts. But this girl called Rey, who's, I don't know, about 22 or something, sees BB-8 being taken away and says, no, I'm not having this. That's bad. That person who's doing that is bad. I'm going to stick up for this little robot. So she legs it down on a big sledge in the sand and says to the person who's kidnapped BB-8, let him go and get out of it. And this creature just runs off. And she says to BB-8, hello, where are you from? And BB-8 just says, oh, I can't tell you. Sorry. Beep, 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 beep. And so he runs off. He says to Rey, can I stay with you and help the Empire, help the fight the New Order, or the First Order? And Rey says, yeah, okay, you can stay for one night, but then you've got to get out of it in the morning. I'm going to hand you in or take you back to somewhere or other. I'll help you, but only a little bit. So they go back to her house and BB-8 goes to sleep. And in the meantime, Poe is getting questioned by Kylo Ren, and he's using the Force on his head and trying to get him to tell the information, and Poe's just about managing not to give anything away. So now Poe's in big trouble, really, to be fair, but luckily for him, the stormtrooper that was feeling a bit guilty on Jakku goes back up to the stormtrooper base and takes his helmet off and starts feeling really bad. And his boss comes over and says, "Oi, you, what's the matter? Why have you taken your hat off? And why didn't you shoot loads of those villagers? I gave the order, shoot them, and you didn't shoot any of them. What's the matter with you? Just man up and start killing people, will you? That's what we pay you for. Get on with it." And so this guy just says, "Okay, I'll get back to it. I'll start killing people tomorrow, alright?" And they say, "Yeah, you bet you will. Now get back." But this stormtrooper ends up going to where Poe is and saying to another stormtrooper, "I've been ordered to take him downstairs for something, for a wee or whatever." And he takes him downstairs and then quickly puts him in a cupboard and says, "Not really. I'm here to rescue you. But I also need your help a bit because you can fly stuff really well, can't you? Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to nick a TIE fighter and just leg it." Is that a good plan?
Yeah.
So they do. They walk. He pretends to put him in handcuffs or something. Again, good trick. And they take him downstairs to where all the TIE fighters are, and they start walking near one. And then he says, "Right, get in, jump in." And they both jump in a TIE fighter, and they fly off. But the little petrol wire is still attached to it, and it's like, "Oh no!" They're dangling on a string, and all the baddies are going, "Look, someone's trying to nick a TIE fighter. Stop them!" So all the stormtroopers run over and start shooting at the TIE fighter, and Poe starts piloting it, and they break it off, and then they zap a few of the baddies, and then they fly away. Woohoo! But they don't get very far because other TIE fighters are after them. So Poe says something like, "Right, you, do you know how to shoot guns?" "Yeah." "Right, this is the same thing. You just get the joystick, point the target at the baddies, and pew, 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 blow them up. Right, got that?"
Yeah.
"Right, do it." So Poe flies off, and the TIE fighters are there. And what do you do? Pew, pew. And what happens?
Dad, there's a TIE fighter there.
Right, go on then, get it. Right, brilliant. They've all gone now. That's brilliant shooting. High five. And then he says to him, "You're brilliant. What's your name?" And he says something like FN5849. And Poe says, "I can't call you FN5849. That's just a silly name." What's he call him?
Finn.
Finn. He says, "I'll call you Finn." And Finn's never had a name because I think they kidnap little babies and make them be stormtroopers. So I think he's never really known what his proper name is. So he just says, "Finn, wow, that's a brilliant name. Thank you. Better than FN5849 or whatever. Thanks for my new name. Let's go." But the bad thing happens when they get shot a bit and crash into the sand. And Finn wakes up and goes, "Oh no, what's happened?" And he runs over, and the spaceship's is in the sand, and he thinks, "Oh, Poe's in there. Right, I'll just help him out." And all of a sudden it sinks under the sand and is gone forever. And he thinks, "Oh no, that's that guy gone. Oh, well, he's left his coat behind, so I'll just wear this because it looks pretty cool jacket." And
But Poe's not under the sand.
well, no, but don't ruin it because people might not know that yet. So Finn then goes for a walk into the nearest town, and in the meantime it's morning now. They've been walking all night, and Ray, who's the girl, takes the BB-8 robot and goes to get some food. And then the person who's giving out the food says, I'll give you loads of food for this robot. And Ray says, no, it's not for sale, even though she really wants all the food. But she's started to sort of think, well, this robot might be important. So I'm not giving him away for any money or any amount of food. Keep your burgers to yourself. And then the bad guy goes, tell the First Order that that's the droid they're looking for. Get it. And loads of stormtroopers turn up all of a sudden. And Finn sees that Rey's in trouble because she's beaten up some other people, but the stormtroopers are coming over to nick BB-8 because they know that he's really important. So Finn runs over and says, come with me. And Rey's better at running than him and just runs off ahead. And then some TIE fighters come to get them, and they try and like blow up Finn and Rey, and they're running away. And they run towards this big spaceship, and Rey says, go towards that spaceship. And Finn says, what about this one over there? She says, no, don't go in that one. That's a rubbish tip. That's a garbage, a hunk of junk, she says. And so they run towards this better spaceship. But then the TIE fighter comes and goes, blows that one up. So then Rey says, okay, get in the rubbish one. And they run in it, and guess what ship it is?
Millennium Falcon?
It is the Millennium Falcon. So they get in it and they fly away and get away from the TIE fighters. And Finn does his job again of doing the guns. He's getting quite good at that. He goes, blows up some TIE fighters again. And then she flies away and gets away. And the good thing is that they're quite safe at this point now. So at this stage, everything's going really well. Well, sort of. I mean, they've got away for now. But back on the big base, there's a new sort of leader in charge who's a big sort of horrible troll man called Snoke. And he knows that that the goodies are onto something with this map. So he says to Kylo Ren, look, we need to sort this problem out. Obviously your dad is Han Solo, so what we're going to do is, well, you need to just be mindful of him and not start to like him again, because you've turned to the dark side now. You said you were going to be bad, so no being good again, okay? Promise? And Kylo Ren says, yeah, definitely promise, I'm going to be bad. Oh, and I forgot, in the meantime, before this conversation, the Millennium Falcon that Finn and Rey are in, they're trying to fix it, but it gets taken up into a tractor beam into a really big spaceship, and then they start to get boarded. The door opens and they think, oh no, we're in trouble now, because we did nick this spaceship, to be honest, and we could get in big trouble. But guess who comes on board? It's Han Solo and Chewbacca. Well, hey, they found their old spaceship again. So cool. So they look under the floorboards, because Han always knows that that's where is the best place to hide, and anyone would just hide there. And so he says, what are you doing on my spaceship? And Rey and Finn say, oh, we nicked it. Sorry about that. Is it yours? And he goes, yeah, it's the Millennium Falcon. And Rey goes, wow, the Millennium Falcon? That's the one that did all that cool stuff back when the Empire got destroyed. And Han said, yeah, I know. That was me who did that. I helped blow up the Death Star, and yeah, I'm quite proud of all that stuff, to be honest. So yeah, I'm glad someone recognises this, because I don't get much respect these days, and it's nice that someone remembers all the cool stuff I did. So anyway, let's get going. But then, oh yeah, and then they say to him, by the way, you know this robot we've got? guess what it's got on it? A map that says where Luke Skywalker is. Well, hey! And Han just sort of says, well, why do you need a map? Why doesn't he just come back and this, or none of this would be needed if he just didn't run off? What's going on? But Han sort of knows why he ran away, and it's to do with his son. Anyway, back to the other bit where Snoke is talking to Kylo Ren, and he says to Kylo Ren, by the way, your dad Han Solo has got the map for Luke Skywalker and that robot on his spaceship, the Millennium Falcon. You're gonna have to just get him, alright? Sort this out, because we don't want any hiccups like last time when the Empire got destroyed. We are going to be better. We're going to be like the new Empire, but better. Nothing's going to stand in our way. So let's get going, get to it, and wreck everything.
How many lightsabers does Snoke has?
He hasn't got any, because he just sits there on a chair like a lazy slug. He's slimy, got a slimy face, and he's really minging. But he doesn't really have any lightsabers. I don't know what he does actually. I don't know how he became in charge, but he just, someone just let him be in charge. I don't know why. But anyway, Kylo Ren says, okay, I'll get him. And they fly, and at this point they try to are you going to sleep? Good boy. Anyway, what happens is that the Millennium Falcon says, right, let's have a look, let's try and solve this, and they decide to take BB-8 to this pub where one of Han's friends is the owner, and they go in there and say, right, let's stay out of trouble again this time and have a chat. And this woman owns the pub. It's got like an orange face, and she looks like a kind of bit like a tangerine on a little body, but with like funny goggles. And she says, yeah, I'll help you, whatever, what do you need? And Han says, well, we're just trying to get this robot to the good guys, okay, so that Leia can use the map and find out where Luke is, and then Luke will come back and everything will be sorted. Hooray! So so just let us help out, or help us out. And Finn gets a bit nervous and says, oh, I don't want any part of this, I just want to leg it really, I just want to chill out on an island somewhere. So he goes to leave, and I think Ray sort of tries to say to him, don't run off again, just help us fight. And he says, no, I'm not having it, see you later, and runs off. And then,
a bit cheeky.
yeah, it is a bit, but he's just had enough killing. He's done enough. So anyway, Ray starts wandering around, going to the toilet, but I think she gets lost and finds a special room. And in this room, she has loads of funny visions, and she opens a box and sees a lightsaber, an old lightsaber from years ago. And she starts having lots of funny visions of Kylo Ren and her mum and dad, and loads of weird stuff going on. And she goes, and starts to freak out a little bit. And the orange tangerine head woman comes along and says, look, just relax, it's all going to be fine, stop mithering about what happened years ago, don't worry about your parents, just, I reckon you should just go and find Luke, because that lightsaber obviously means something to you, and it's important, and it's trying to connect with you in some way, so just go with it, and you'll probably end up saving the galaxy or something. That's what usually happens to young people who go off on these kind of missions. So just get to it and don't worry about it, okay? Off you go. And Ray says, she just freaks out and goes, no, I'm not having it, it's too complicated, didn't ask for any of this, I was just trying to help a robot get to a pub, I'm out of here, boo. And she just runs off into the forest. And BB-8 chases after her, and says, look, don't worry about it. Come on, we can. Everyone's just running off, and this is falling apart. To be honest, let's just all pull back together and sort this out. And it's good because at that moment, something made them pull back together. The First Order start to arrive. Ah! Yeah, scary. All the bad spaceships turn up and start wrecking everything. And Finn sees this and just runs back and says, right, look what's just happened. Oh yeah, I forgot a massive bit. You know that Death Star that they used to have in the Empire days? Well, now they've made a massive whole big planet gun that can shoot up into the sky and blow up whole planets again. I don't know what it is about these baddies, but they're just obsessed with being able to blow up whole planets. It's like how people today, like world leaders, have to have loads of nuclear bombs to blow up the whole world, even though you only need a few to wreck it. But they have loads. They just want loads of weapons. And that's like the First Order. They've got a big gun that can blow up all the planets. So they test it out on a planet that's got loads of resistance sort of sympathisers on it. People who want the good guys to win. And they blow up this whole planet. And Finn sees this and says, oh, look, there's no point running away, because wherever I go, they'll just be able to blast it with this new gun thing. So I better go and help. So Finn runs back to see Han and says, the First Order have got this massive gun thing. I used to work there for a bit when they were making it, cleaning the toilets and stuff. So we need to just destroy it. So they say, okay, let's do that. Let's just go and get Rey, okay? Let's just help Rey. But in the meantime, Kylo Ren turns up and he captures Rey and fights her in a lightsaber fight. And he gets her and puts her on this spaceship. And then he flies off. And the good guys are left just thinking, oh no, what's going to happen now? And guess who turns up? Princess Leia turns up. Woohoo!
Dad, it says Anakin.
I know. Well, don't worry about Anakin. We're not reading this book. So, because Anakin's gone anyway, long time ago. But Rey is also gone, and she's taken onto this base where they've got this big gun, and they're going to aim it at the planet where the Resistance is on again, and this is really bad. So they say, right, well, Finn says he just wants to go and help Rey get away. So he says to Han and Leia, look, I can really help you if you want. I know all about the base, and we can destroy it and wreck it. And I'll help you do it, and it'll all be sorted. But really, Finn doesn't want to help. He just wants to go and get Rey, but he's just kind of stringing them along so they'll agree to the mission, which they do. So Han and Chewie and BB-8, I think. No, BB-8 maybe doesn't go. No, BB-8 stays with Poe. And, oh yeah, because I forgot to say again, Poe isn't dead like you already knew. He didn't get killed, and he's back fighting with the rebels. Well, hey. So he meets Finn again, and Finn says, do you want your coat back? And Poe says, no, you keep it. Looks pretty cool on you. You're pretty cool. You wear it. I've got to fly in a orange suit in a minute anyway, so you can just have it. Okay, let's go. And Finn says, right, we'll break the shield, and then you wreck the base. Okay, let's go. Everybody knows what they're doing. this sounds a bit like Star Wars A New Hope, where we all went to go and get the Death Star. So let's go, make it happen. High fives, everybody. Woohoo! And they all leg it. So Han and Chewie and Finn go to the base to try and get Rey back. And Poe goes off to go and shoot the base when they get the shield down. So they get there and it's really freezing. And Han says, right, how do we get inside? What are we doing when we get there? You know all about how to destroy this base, don't you, Finn? And Finn says, no, better come clean. I only said that so you'd come and help me get Rey back, because I really like her and want to help her. And Han says, what are you playing at, son? We've got to destroy this. The whole world depends on us, and we've got to get it right. And Finn says, oh, okay, let's just get on with it. I'm up for it. We'll do it. And Finn says, we'll just use the Force. But he's not really sure how to use the Force. He doesn't really know what it is. And Han says, that's not how the Force works. You silly man. Right, let's go. So they go in, they shoot loads of baddies. And then they find Rey, because she's just climbing up her wall. Because when Kylo Ren tried to get her and change her to the dark side, she said, no, I'm not having any of that. And she was really powerful. And Kylo Ren got a bit scared. So he went off to talk to that big Snoke guy again about what's the best plan, what's the best way forward. And while he was gone, do you know what Rey did? She used the Jedi mind trick on some stormtroopers, even though she hasn't really had any Jedi training. She just said to the stormtrooper, leave the door open, will you, mate, and give your gun and leave the keys and see you later. I don't think she expected it to work, but you know what? The stormtrooper just did everything she said and walked off. So she got away. So then Finn and Han and Chewie catch up with her and say, hey Rey, we've come to get you. Now let's go. And so they start walking off back towards the spaceship. And then they say, oh yeah, Poe and all the other rebel pilots are flying towards the base, trying to break it up, trying to wreck it. And they say, it's not working, the shields are up, or there's it's too hard to break this. So Han and Finn and Chewie and Rey say, well, we've got some explosives, why don't we just break it from on the ground? So they say, yeah, cool, good idea. And they run back in and put loads of bombs all over the base. And then they get ready to blow it up. But Kylo Ren turns up with loads of stormtroopers. And the stormtroopers start running around trying to find them. And Kylo Ren walks across this bridge and just starts having a look around. And guess what? Han sees him and says, that's my son. And even though he's Kylo Ren now, these days, and he's been really evil, I still love him, so I'm going to help him become good again. So he walks across the bridge and tries to talk to him. And at this point, Rey and Finn are looking and seeing what's going to happen. And Kylo Ren talks to Han Solo and starts thinking, oh, I've got to kill my dad, which is really bad. That'd be awful, wouldn't it? Can you imagine killing me? That'd be bad, wouldn't it? I'd be really sad. It'd be awful. Don't think you would, but because you haven't turned to the dark side though, have you? But Kylo Ren has. So when Han goes, Ben, because that's his name, Ben Solo, Ben, come and have a word, will you? And Ben says, or Kylo Ren says, no, I'm on the dark side now. You're not going to change my mind. Stop all this guilt trip nonsense. And Han Solo says, yeah, well, we miss you and your mum misses you. And Kylo Ren says, I thought I said stop all the guilt stuff. Stop making me feel bad. I know what I've got to do, so help me. And Han says, yeah, I'll help you. Let's just get out of here. Let's just go. And Kylo Ren gets his lightsaber, and you think he's gonna give it to Han and they can get on the spaceship and fly off. But then he stabs Han Solo with his lightsaber. And Han goes, "Ah! What are you doing? Ah! That really hurts." And Kylo Ren stabs him and throws him off the bridge. And he falls down, and Han Solo is dead. Ah! Bad, isn't it? And Chewbacca goes mental. He's like, "Rah!" Shoots Kylo Ren, shoots all the stormtroopers, runs around just going, "Rah! You killed my best mate, you pillock." Kills everybody, starts shooting the whole place up. And then he gets the detonator and says, "Right, have this." And blows up the base. And it's nearly destroyed. And they run off. And
did Kylo Ren run off?
Well, Kylo Ren just sits there at this point because he's a bit shocked because Chewbacca shot him. But he realises that he's not dead, and the laser bolt just made him fall over a little bit. But Chewbacca legs it and goes back to the ship because he starts thinking, well, I better try and escape. I better escape. And at this point, Finn and Rey were watching all this, and they said, "No!" And Kylo Ren looks up at them and says, "Right, I'm coming to get you two." And so they leg it off. And Kylo Ren's really quick, and he's all of a sudden meets them outside in the forest. And he has a lightsaber fight. Well, he starts to have a lightsaber fight with Rey, but then he just uses the Force to throw her into a tree, and she gets knocked out. And then he goes, "Right, I'm going to come and get you." And he walks over to where Rey and Finn's trying to shake her awake and go, "Rey, come on, wake up, we got to leg it. Kylo Ren's come in." And Kylo Ren's walking, and Finn says, "Right, I better do something here." So he finds the lightsaber, the blue one. It was Luke's, and now Rey's got it, and Finn grabs it, and even though he hasn't had any Jedi training, he just says, "Well, I'll just better give it a go." So he goes, and Kylo Ren runs over, and Finn, to be honest and to be fair to him, does really, really well. And Kylo Ren starts trying to fight him, and Finn starts fighting him back. And they start cutting down some trees by accident. And Finn's just brilliant, which makes me think Kylo Ren's not really very good as a Jedi or a dark side Sith or whatever he is. He's just a bit rubbish. Maybe he's just feeling a bit guilty still about just killing his dad, and his mind's not really in the game. But he's just awful. He can't even beat Finn, who's had no training. But then he uses the Force, and he does hit Finn with his lightsaber on the back, and Finn falls over and is injured. And then Kylo Ren says, "Right, I'm gonna get this lightsaber." And there's a lightsaber in the ground, and he starts to use the Force to get it, and it flies towards his hand, but then all of a sudden it flies away from him and into the hand of Rey. She was awake again, and she used the Force to grab the lightsaber back off Kylo Ren. And then they start having a massive lightsaber battle. And even though she's about, I don't know, a 20-year-old girl, and she's not really had any training at all either, she starts to beat Kylo Ren as well, which makes me even more think that he's not very good. Nowhere near as good as Darth Vader and Luke or Yoda and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu and Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. If any of them were still around, they would absolutely paste Kylo Ren, wouldn't they? So anyway, none of them are around. And Luke's legged it as well. So it's all down to Rey, who's just a kid. But because she's really strong with the Force, she's just starting to find out. she starts beating him, and she's about to win and get him, but in the meantime, Poe has flown into the base just before they were about to zap a whole planet and destroy the rebellion or the resistance. Poe flew in, blew up the whole base and legged it off again, which is a good thing, but it causes the whole planet to be starting to get wrecked and fall apart, and lots of earthquakes are happening. And Rey's just about to kill Kylo Ren, but the ground falls apart, and Kylo Ren goes on the other side and just runs off. And Rey says, "Right, we better go." And she gets Finn, and Chewbacca turns up and picks him up, because Chewie's always good at rescuing people, isn't he? He always comes at the right moment with the Falcon, picks everybody up. He's like the designated driver. And they fly off to safety.
Where's Kylo?
He lies on the ground for a bit and then quickly gets in his spaceship, I think, and legs it off as well.
What's his spaceship?
It's like one of those old Empire ones, you know, the ones with the wings that fold down. I think he flies about in one of them. So he flies off, and Finn and Rey and Chewie fly off back to go and see Princess Leia. And when they get back, she knows that Han's died, and she's really upset because they were married for ages, and even though they had a son who turned out to be a right rumman, they still sort of liked him and they wanted to bring him back, and they still sort of loved each other really in a way, even though they couldn't really get on. But Leia's really upset because everything's bad at this point. Her brother's gone missing. Her husband, who I think they've separated or something, he's died now, and her son's still on the dark side. So, and he's killed Han, which is really annoying. So she is just well upset at this point. But guess what? In the corner for the whole film has been sitting R2-D2. Just doing nothing. Just sitting there like a bucket. And guess what? All of a sudden, he wakes up. And C-3PO says, "R2-D2, you're awake. That's brilliant. Some good news at last." And R2-D2 starts having a chat with BB-8. Yeah. And he says to BB-8, You're a new robot. Wow, that's cool. You can roll around. I had to roll around on little wheels like a Tesco trolley, but you get to roll around on your actual body. You're brilliant. Shall we be mates?" And BB-8 says, "Yeah, fine. That's good. You're like an old hero droid. We always talked about you in droid school. You're like the best droid ever. You and C-3PO." So they have a chat, and then R2-D2 has an old map, a really old map from years ago, and he projects it into the sky. And then BB-8 says, "Hey, I've got an idea. You know that map that old geezer gave me at the very beginning of the film? I think it fits into that one. Can I have it?" And Poe says, yeah, here you go. Here's your USB stick. Puts it in him. And BB-8 goes and puts the map to join it up with R2-D2's map. And guess what? Now they know where Luke is. Woohoo! So, Rey says, "Okay, should we go and find him? I can give him his lightsaber, and I reckon I can get him to come back and solve this whole mess, because Kylo Ren's annoying, Snoke's really annoying, he's like the new Emperor, and but if we get Luke back, we can sort out this whole big mess, and everything will be sorted." So Chewbacca gets in the Falcon, and Rey gets in the Falcon, and they sort of look at each other and go, "Hey, guess what? Even though Han's dead, we're like new partners now. We can fly this, can't we?" So even though Han's died and it's sad, things are moving on already. I think everyone's just going to be fine. Anyway, they all had a bit of a cry, and now they're all getting on with it. So they fly off to go and find Luke, and Leah hangs around at the base, and Poe's doing well now, and Finn's injured, but I think he's going to be alright. And BB-8's alright, and the droids are fine. And it's quite optimistic now. Everything's going to be fine. They're just going to get Luke. So they fly off to this faraway planet. And Rey gets out, and Chewbacca says, "Oh,
and it's Luke's island."
yeah, where Luke's living." They find out where he lives, and for some reason she knows exactly what bit to go to. And Chewbacca goes, "I'll wait in the Millennium Falcon. You go and get Luke." So she walks up all these stairs, and she sees a man wearing a hoodie, and thinks, well, obviously, I think I know who that is. So she walks up to him and holds out his lightsaber and says, "Are you Luke?" And Luke just looks all moody, takes his hood down, and he looks like he's about to cry or something. He looks really upset and angry at the same time, even though he doesn't know who this girl really is. I don't know what the matter with him is. I think he's probably just a bit fed up because he wanted to go and have a peaceful time and just hide, but all of a sudden loads of people have tracked him down and found him and disturbed his peace. So he just says, he doesn't even say anything, just looks fed up. And Rey holds out his lightsaber, and that's where the film ends. And then the next story is the one that carries on from that we went to the cinema and watched the other day. So should we record that one again another day?
Yeah. Do you know it?
No, but to be honest, I don't know any of them. We'll just remember it, won't we, as we go along?
Go along.
Will you help me remember it?
Last Jedi.
That's the one. The Last Jedi.
Snoke's in it. Kylo's in it.
Yeah.
Rey's in it.
Yep.
But not Han.
No, sadly, he's not. But Luke's in it, and he's an old one.
Yeah.
From the old ones. And there's some new creatures in it.
Oh, they're so cute.
I know. And guess who else is in it?
Who?
Your teddy here.
Yeah, Yoda's in it.
I know, he is, isn't he? So we'll do that one next time. But for now, you have got to go to sleep. Okay? Night night. Love you, little boy. See you in the morning light.
Dad?
Yeah?
Your computer?
I'm just turning it off now because we finished this one, haven't we?